Hi friends. Boy, have I got something extra special for you today. Now, some of you know this isn't my regular niche. This isn't really usually what I talk about. Mostly my channel is about, recovery and using the spiritual laws and principles such as the law of attraction to overcome your obsessions and your compulsions and begin to live a life of prosperity and abundance. But with that still comes life's issues and problems, and this, it looks like it's turning into like a little series. I wanted to say 3 parts, but this is the 3rd part, and it's still more like, it's still going to be a to be continued. And this is in regards to my student loan debt, which I'd say most of you are probably more worried about your student loan debt even than learning the spiritual laws and principles and getting past your addiction. So, if you're not addicted to anything and you're just here watching my channel for the student loan repayment issue, great. Give me a thumbs up. If the message stands out to you and you feel like it could help somebody else, please consider sharing it. But if you're tuning in because you're interested in what to do to help you, get out of student loan debt, but you're also maybe an addict in recovery, or you have some sort of obsession or compulsion that you would like to move past, then definitely consider subscribing, okay? Stick around. And when we left off the last one, it's letting you know what the surprise is, the big whoop-de-doo surprise. Because I thought that I had dealt with the student loan issue stuff. I thought it was a debt issue, and that I was getting it off my credit report, and that life was all rainbows and unicorns. And let me just tell you, my attorney has actually warned me against really doing the YouTube videos on this while the case is still going on, because anything I say, especially on social media, can and will, because honey, they will use it against me in a court of law. Also, it can violate the attorney-client privilege. So the fact that I'm speaking on it can negate my attorney-client privilege with my attorneys. But I love you guys so much, and I feel like this is such an important issue that I'm doing it anyway. Because, I'm a rebel. Woohoo! I've always been a rebel anyway, okay? But this, quite honestly, pisses me off. And, they're getting away with it. They're getting away with this day in and day out because they're big, bad, powerful government, right? And you and I, who are we? We're just little people, right? They bully us. They bully us every day. And they find loopholes that they have so much power that they don't even have to go through the normal chains of command that you or I would, say, if we wanted to collect a debt. We have to go to the court. We have to, we have to do all this stuff, right? We have to fork out money time and again to get money, right? While they've got the government right in their back pocket. And the evidence of that is this. Went and filed my taxes this year. And by the way, my intuition kind of kept knocking on me about this because I had a girlfriend that this happened to. Actually, 2 of them in the past couple of years. So instead of going and finding that my $2,800 had been deposited into my bank account, I went to my mailbox and found this letter from the IRS instead, which says, "We applied your payment to debt that you owe to the following agency." Excuse me, you did what? You did what? To FIA. They applied it to FIA. You see that? FIA. FIA. going back again, after when I was going back and forth with the president of SunTrust Bank back in 2018, asking for this original instrument of indebtedness, and they didn't want to answer the question. Then my attorney sent a demand letter, and they finally answered the question and said, not only do we not have it, but here's the list of your original people you borrowed from, and you need to go to them and ask for the original instrument, the promissory note, the master copy, which by law they are supposed to have, because apparently in order for you to technically satisfy a debt, they have to be able to stamp that debt paid in full. If they can't do that, you by law really can never technically satisfy that debt. But not only that, they have to show proof of ownership of the debt, that they own this debt. They're supposedly buying it. They're switching it. All the creditors are switching it back and forth between each other, buying and selling and buying and selling, buying and selling to each other. But they have to show proof that they actually own the debt, because I didn't sign any paperwork with you. I went into debt with Sallie Mae 20-something years ago. I never signed anything with you, Fia. Oh, but however, when I would ask them these questions about, or the question about the original instrument, instead of answering that question and saying, no, we don't have that, they would just say, this is what we have. And they would say, we have a debt consolidation, a signature on a debt consolidation. So that can get you in trouble. Remember, they pumped this and they advertised it to everybody, and this was the thing to do. Go and consolidate your debt. Go and consolidate your debt. So then they started filing our debts with this NSLDS system, okay? So I guess they thought that that was the loophole, that they didn't have the original, they didn't need to have the original instrument anymore, because now they had this debt consolidation, and now you're agreeing that you have a debt. But no, senor, because you still have to have the original note, because you still have to be able to show proof of ownership of the debt. And the debt consolidation itself, it's got things blacked out on it, and it's just a copy too. They don't even have the original of this. And so they sent me a stack of papers saying that this was my debt consolidation. However, here's the one little itty bitty weak ass little signature that they say that they're supposed to be collecting this $26,000 worth of debt on, and that they're so powerful enough to just take my taxes. It's this itty bitty little signature here, and this signature actually is not on my debt consolidation at all. This is when my student loans were in default, when they finally went into default status. And then they sent me this thing saying, we're going to give you an opportunity to get your student loans out of default. And at the time, I thought I might want to go back to school, and I thought that would be great if I could do that. They had just gone into default. They hadn't been in default very long anyway. But they sent me this thing saying that if I paid $5 for 9 months on time, that would bring my student loan debt back into good standing, and then we would do the financial whatever, and figure out how much my payments are going to be and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it sounded good. So anyway, this is the little signature that they got for that. Okay? And that's what happened. I made my on-time payments to rehabilitate and bring the student loans out of default. At which time, FIA or AES turn around and they sold the debt back to SunTrust. Now, at this time, they sent me a letter. And by the way, while I was paying this little money to bring my student loans out of the default status, I also began just doing some investigation, just seeing what other people were doing, because when that happened, they sent me the paperwork and they showed me how much they were claiming that I owed. And it was almost $26,000, which was just crazy because I never borrowed that amount. And on none of the paperwork did any of that reflect any of the Pell Grants I got or any of the supposed free money. Like, I didn't go to school that much where I spent that much money. I literally had like 3 semesters in a community college. Then I did go to a 6-month program at an academy to learn massage therapy. And I also spent a few months at a Stenotype Institute. Okay? But I had Pell Grants and I had, all this stuff that was supposed to be helping me go to school. And I was supposedly only borrowing very little. But none of this reflected that. And so they take this one little weak little signature and they go ahead and they staple all these papers together, or they pull up all these papers and they take and they put amounts in these little boxes over here. And see, my name's not on here. I didn't initial this page or sign this page or anything. But here's the page that supposedly shows what I owe, and they've got my name up in the typing up there. But there's no signature on the actual page. Anybody can put anything in any box that they want. And even though, at last standing, like I told you, the last time I talked to my attorney, he asked me, is the original instrument out there? Do you think it's out there, Elizabeth? I said, no, I don't. It's been too long. They've sold the debt too much, back and forth, all this stuff. They keep bringing up this promissory note thing because that's all they seem to have. But they don't even have that. They only have a copy of that. And then when they sent me the copy of what they supposedly have, that's not on the debt consolidation. That's on when I was agreeing to pay $5 a month for 9 months to bring my student loan debts out of default. But it doesn't say how much for or anything. They have failed miserably to keep accurate records that even so much make sense. And my attorney said, he said, well, if you think it's not out there, we can go ahead and we'll start pushing for Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion to take this off your credit. He says because they can't sue you. They cannot sue you without that document. Now, if you've consolidated debt and they have an original of that, you might have a problem because at some point you did admit to having the debt. And listen, and I paid on my debt too for years. So, I really, they got a really flimsy case if they're going to try to hold that against me, that I actually made payments at one time and I actually wanted to bring my student loans out of default. But there's been no agreement, no conversation, no nothing, even about how much I owe since 2007. Okay, so that's it, right? They can't sue me, right? They've got so much power. They got a whole little program. They call it an offset program. Who needs a signature from a judge when we have a program? So they go to the IRS without so much as even warning me, or the IRS even asking me, hey, is this true? The IRS doesn't ask them to show proof. Okay, or they took their flimsy little whatever as proof, but they know, okay, that so many of us are busy playing Fortnite and watching the Kardashians, and we don't know any better, that they're like, well, nobody cares, we're just gonna keep doing whatever. No, you've got to stop, people. You've got to stop. You got to wake up. You got to educate yourself, okay? Because these are predatory lenders. They came to you when you were young. They promised you the world. Everybody made you feel like you had to go to college to be anything, okay? And you started your life off in debt. And now they've got all these programs and loopholes and ways to trap you for life. Now, they're not supposed to be able to compound the interest like they have, especially on a government loan, because the government's loaning you basically your own money, okay, as a taxpayer, but they get away with it because they sell the debt to private third-party creditors, which they keep switching back to the federal government so they can get backed with the same power of the federal government, which they shouldn't have as a business that's in the private sector. Oh my God, listen, this is a headache. Oh my God, when I start thinking about this stuff, I get a headache. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. But you know what? It wouldn't be so much if we smarten up in the first place, okay? Cash is king. Pay your way, what you can afford. The Creator got you. He is not, man is not the determination of what you're going to make of your life, okay? You and your Creator, you decide. Point blank period, okay? Now, they say they sent a letter to me to a Florida address. Now, they have my email, but they mailed out a letter to my Florida address. And I'd already gone back and forth with the president of SunTrust Bank for 9 months, and they had my attorney's name, and they knew that I was no longer living in Florida, but they sent the warning letter that they were going to do this to me to an address in Florida, which of course came back to them, which would have gave me 65 days to appeal this. Now, I'm also in a housing program, which it's like local state monies, but it's still like government funded, like it's government kind of subsidized or whatever, you know, to help families. You know, it's supposed to be to help guard against homelessness in this country. So that's a huge ordeal right there, because they're able to take your taxes. You know, you're in a government program that's subsidized, or a program that's subsidized by the government, and they're able to seize your taxes, because the IRS doesn't know anything, because they don't have to ask any questions. They don't have to have any information about you. Even go, oh, is this true? Oh, does Miss Combs owe you money? Okay, well, where is Miss Combs? Okay, well, did a judge say that she owes me? They don't have to go through any of the normal steps. This is so disgusting. So disgusting. So disgusting. So, and I love this too. What should I do now, it says. If you agree that you owe the debt, don't do anything. Your debt balance has been reduced. Now, if you believe that your payment was applied in error, and you would like to resolve the debt, see, it doesn't say, and you would like your money back. No, it's just is automatically assuming you definitely owe this money. Like, there's no doubt in the world you owe this money. This couldn't possibly be a mistake. Or, if you have questions about, again, your debt or outstanding balance, contact the agency listed under Who Do I Owe. Now the IRS is just, we gave your money away, but don't bother us about it. If you actually want any help or any resolution to this, you want to ask any questions, anything like that, you need to talk to them. Oh, I need to go deal with the same exact thieves that took my money? That's like the cops telling you, oh, you know, go talk to the criminal. Don't talk to us. Okay. Before sending a debt to a fiscal service or agency, an agency must send notice to you at the address in its records. The notice explains the amount and type of debt you owe, the rights available to you, and the agency's intention to collect the debt by applying eligible federal loans payments to you. Now, here's something else that I noticed. Again, going back to the fact that I'm in a housing program, right? Is that when I talked to my social worker, there's apparently several families, just like me. They got this shocking surprise of their life too. When they went to their mailbox, and instead of getting their checks, they got a letter saying their taxes went bye-bye. I just think that it's like a pretty big coinky-dink. That none of these people are getting their letters. So many people are getting their taxes taken. Like, not only don't they keep the original instruments of indebtedness, or any original paperwork for that matter, they don't even care to keep an accurate address on you on file. Now, like when I spoke to the guy on the phone, Mr. Eugene, okay, over there at FIA, he was like, well, you know, you don't want to update your address with us. You haven't done that. No, I haven't done that because by law, I don't owe you any money. Why are you still calling me? Why are you still bothering me? I don't got to give you shit. I don't got to give you shit. Okay? They want all my financial information. They want all this and all that. But they don't even have to prove to me that they actually own the debt. You're willy-nilly over there. I don't know you from Adam. You're just coming to me, knocking on my door, calling my phone, showing up in my inbox telling me, hey, you owe us this money. And then you confuse the shit out of people because they remember, okay, well, maybe 20 years ago, yeah, I did take on a loan, but, you know, I can't remember, like, how much it was, or how it was with, and, you know, and you're just thinking, well, and then because they have all this power and whatever, you just think there's nothing you can do about it, right? And you go back to playing Fortnite, and doing Kiki, do you love me, do you, all that. Okay, because we don't want to think about this shit, right? But no, that's why they're getting. So what to do next? If this has happened to you, okay, I urge you, especially if you are in any type of a program like I am, some type of housing program or anything like that, okay? Or if you've already written letters asking for the original instrument of indebtedness and they've you know, you've heard crickets when you ask them for any information, I urge you, even if you think you're not going to see your money, it's okay. We need to hold them accountable, okay? Change does happen in numbers. So what to do about it? Coming up on my next video. In the meantime, I want to say I love you guys so much. It's all going to be okay. A final message I want to say on this video is that when these types of things happen, this is exactly why you never put your eggs in one basket, if you will, or count on man or other people for anything. This is why we stay in constant contact with our Creator on a daily basis. We stay in meditation, we stay in gratitude. When something like this happens, we know that our source is our Creator. We know that we are still happy, healthy, wealthy, joyful, grateful, successful, and abundant. And we know that sometimes things that look like they're bad are for the good. And some things that look like they're for the good can turn out to be not so great, okay? So this is why we stay thankful all the time, and even more so, be vigilant. Listen, if this is happening to you, and you went to your mailbox, and, you know, I know you had dreams about what you was going to do with that money. Don't I know it? You thought you was going to get to take a little vacation here, finally. Take your kids somewhere. Do something nice, right? You still can. Don't let this trap you or get you into this emotional state of not having. Once you start feeling like you don't have, something's been taken from you, something, now you can't do something, that immediately, that blocks the energy. that blocks the energy, and it will affect you in bigger ways. Listen, they've taken your little money. That's okay. They took your little money. Okay? It's all good. Don't let them take your power. Take your power back. We got this. Something good's going to come of this. Something good is coming of this. Okay? We're going to make them accountable. Tune in to the next video. In the meantime, namaste. Mwah.